So many times we've been tempted over the years to go and dabble in something else or go explore this or explore that. But no, we are breakthrough through and through. We are able to bring a level of expertise and knowledge and training and support to our customers like no other brake fluid producer can, because every other brake fluid producer, they're always producing something else. But we are 100% brake fluids. And it's that specialist aspect to it that brings a customer support like none other.
Welcome to Coffee Break, the official podcast of the Brake Report. Here we dive deep into the world of brake technology, bringing you exclusive interviews with industry leaders and insights into the companies shaping our future. Let's get started. So Lloyd, to kick things off, do you mind maybe just sharing just a little bit about yourself and maybe a brief overview of Orthene?
Firstly, happy birthday.
Thank you, sir. Much appreciated.
My name is Lloyd Ker, the CEO of Orthene. We are the world's largest specialist producer of brake fluids. We're a third generation business, so I'm third generation. My father handed over the keys nearly, 12 months ago now. So fairly fresh. That's it in a nutshell.
Being in business nearly as 50 years, being on your third generation of leadership, what's your long-term vision for Orthene?
Good question. So I think starting with the fact that it's all credit to my grandfather and my father who've taken us to this point so far. And we've got an incredible DNA in this business that is unshakable. And that is actually the DNA that's going to stand us in really good stead this next 50 years. So it's my job to make that a reality. And that DNA is just that real deep customer first mindset and going super deep in what we know best, and that's brake fluids. Now, will we be only in brake fluids in 50 years? No, most likely not. We know what's coming down the road with brake by wire and things like that. But there's a vision for Orthene, and that is largely around going further and deeper into what we know best, which is brake fluids, but it's also expanding our own brand through the Halo model, which is in the high-end specialist realms in racing, which is bringing a whole world of possibilities. And we'll probably go into that a little bit further in the conversation.
You guys are so unique. You're such a specialist within brake fluid compared to maybe other general automotive chemical suppliers that are out there. How does that expertise translate into customer value?
I think it's that word specialist, but so many times we've been tempted over the years to go and dabble in something else or go explore this or explore that. But no, we are brake fluid through and through. And we are able to bring a level of expertise and knowledge and training and support to our customers like no other brake fluid producer can, because every other brake fluid producer, there's not many of them, they're always producing something else. But we are 100% brake fluids. It's that specialist aspect to it that brings a customer support like none other.
And speaking of Halo, you mentioned Halo a few minutes ago. So Halo is your new brand that you all launched relatively recently, and it's designed for the high performance, the motorsport segments. It's being well received within the industry. Why is it so popular? And I guess what sets it apart from its competitors?
Halo's super fun. What it's brought is connecting us as the specialist with what actually happens in real life. And we've never really had that. And to be sitting side by side with some race engineers from someone like Chip Ganassi or some of these NASCAR Cup teams or who it might be globally, looking at data. The mission when we first started was like, how could we change the perception of brake fluid from a mere commodity to a performance component? And race teams have never really seen it that way. And in the high end of motorsport, they know a good brake fluid is important, but they've never seen it in the way that we see it. And we're actually, with Halo, yes, it's a damn good product. And that is partly the reason why we're getting some good penetration into those areas. But we're talking about it like no one else has ever talked about it. And that's why it's gaining so much traction. We're in our second year now, and there's certain series that we've got already over 50% penetration of the paddock.
Oh, wow.
And this is right the way from Formula One, right the way through to NASCAR, IndyCar, Endurance Championship, Le Mans, etc. It's super fun.
That's awesome. The motorsport segment is so dynamic, is so unique, maybe compared to other industry or other segments out there. Is there anything that you guys, any takeaways or anything you guys have kind of learned as you've partnered with some of these motorsports companies? Is there anything you've taken away that you've been able to maybe implement within Orthene, or that just some realizations about running a business?
Absolutely. And that's one of the key reasons why we've done this, is because it's looking at the interaction between brake fluid and the mechanics of a brake system, and actually seeing that in real life in the extreme environments such as racing, to be able to then look at elements of the brake fluid where we can further develop or innovate. But actually, we've translated some of that learning already into standard day products. And one of the key things that some of our current white label customers have looked at, they've looked at what we're doing in Halo and gone, hey, this is great because this only helps us.
Yeah.
So it does absolutely translate.
With Orthene being traditionally primarily a white label, like private label supplier to some of the world leading aftermarket companies, is there any challenges or have you had any issues with maybe Halo competing with some of those brands that you guys maybe supply to?
Yeah, that's a totally fair question. I think this is why we took so long to make this decision, but we did it for the best for the future of the business. And it's important to remember, Brian, that 99% of our volume is not for the high-end race market. 99% of the volume we produce is for the general aftermarket. So we're not stepping on toes. We're conscious that, of course, there are people that do sell products, similar products in some of those spaces. There are large brands in that space that actually, ironically, are not produced by Orthene, that actually is in our best interest to try and get some market share.
This episode is brought to you by Hagman Search. When it comes to finding top-tier talent for your executive team, Hagman Search is a name you can trust. Not simply a recruiting firm, it's your strategic partner. Go to hagmansearch.com to learn more. I want to switch gears a little bit here and talk about, get out of the racing, get into more of, I guess, today. You mentioned it earlier about brake-by-wire. Electric vehicles is another trend that electric vehicles are here, gaining more traction. Do you see any issues? Or are you having any issues from a business perspective with brake-by-wire being much more prevalent or being more of a reality, I guess, now or in a not so distant future? Is that going to impact your business at all?
It certainly will do. But in terms of any impact today, no. But we're not putting the blinkers on. It is a reality. And you know as well as I do, Brian, that yes, it is a reality. But in terms of what impact that has, in what shape and format, over what time period, is still yet to be seen. And we're making sure we keep really close to the leaders in development in this brake-by-wire segment. Because actually, there's a case to be made here where some of them are suggesting in terms of we're going to a bit of a hybrid type model, wet fronts and dry rears or that type of thing. Is there fluids that we can develop in partnership with them to best suit a hybrid brake-by-wire type system? So that's a really interesting journey for us. But I think, again, looking back to Halo and what we're learning in that area, that's giving us the insight in terms of what's happening in a vehicle that is actually then giving us the stepping stone to look at, okay, we're chemical experts here. What else could we do? And we're already looking at 10, 20, 30 years down the line going, what could we do? We're the best in the world in one thing. We understand chemistry. How could we apply that to something else? And so we're absolutely actively pursuing that avenue.
Yeah, no, it seems like that'd be pretty important. Obviously, every company has to evolve, right? No matter how long you've been in business or how new you are, you have to obviously be staying on top of it. So educate me on the EV side. So do electric vehicles, this may be a dumb question, but do electric vehicles, does it affect the brake fluid aspect at all, or is it just the same as an ICE engine?
Yeah, correct. So most of these today, the braking system is exactly the same. And in terms of the fluid specification remains unchanged.
Okay.
And actually, what we try to work with some of the OEMs to help educate that actually, no, the car setup is different. You should be using these types of fluids. But in most cases, it is that the specifications of brake fluid hasn't changed and the consumption.
So being primarily a white label, majority of your business is white label, supplying to major customers. Is there challenges on trying to stay on top of the forefront of the market, of being seen, being heard, and just being understood on how to be a leader in this market?
I think one of the key traits of my grandfather and my father was always about customer first. And we actively send even our own staff to go and watch and listen and learn at workshop level. So they are, even our staff are in tune as to what's happening in a workshop. How can we feed that back into the lab or feed it back into R&D where you can further develop packaging or the fluid or both to just keep innovating, keep at the forefront. My grandfather, he was a pioneer for so many different things over such a long period of time. And likewise, my father, we keep at it. And that only comes through having a customer first mindset. And that's not just getting close to our white label customers, it's getting close to their customers at garage level.
So from a market perspective, what are you all serving globally? Do you supply customers in every country? Are there certain areas where you're not currently maybe supplying that you'd like to?
Yes, of course. And there's always growth opportunities in places where we'd love to be penetrating more. There is such thing as competition, global dynamics. Some regions are absolutely stronger than others, but we supply now directly over 100 countries.
Looking ahead, though, where do you see as some of your biggest growth opportunities?
For sure, it's North and South America, and we are ramping up our efforts and our operations to make sure we serve that market well, because we believe we can make a real difference there. And that is an absolute sweet spot for us. Europe remains a great market for us. Asia it's taken a bit of a hit from some lower price competition. India is another interesting market. We don't know enough about it. We do still do some stuff in India, but it's largely our focus and our operation, our attention is North and South America.
Yeah, and speaking of North America, so will you all be Apex and SEMA are coming up just right around the corner. Are you guys going to be there? Are you going to be showcasing Orthene?
For sure. And this is the first time we've ever done it at Apex and SEMA, but can't wait. We'll be there. No doubt a lot of our customers will be there. I think one important part to play in this is actually the trading relationship we have between both countries, the UK and the United States, that we've got a favourable tariff situation. Yes, there's been an additional 10%, but we're still able to remain competitive in that space, which is awesome.
So I guess before we wrap up here, Lloyd, if someone who's listening right now that's interested in Orthene, interested in maybe learning more about the Halo brand, what's the best way for that person to get in touch with you all?
Just reach out, jump on the website, email us. There's all the contact details on there, www.orthene.com, or likewise, halobyorthene.com. We're all one team.
Great. Awesome. Lloyd, it's been a pleasure. I've always enjoyed talking with you. This was great. I appreciate you taking your time, and I look forward to doing this again sometime.
Yeah, thank you, Brian. Very much appreciated. See you in SEMA.
This is Brian Hagman, host of Coffee Break. I want to give a big thank you to today's guest and to all of you for tuning in. Until next time, let's keep breaking stuff.